welcome, my fabulous fempreneurs. I am excited to bring to you some interesting knowledge and expertise that we can all apply for our daily lives, just making our self care routine and our daily life so much more in tune with our bodies and even help our money mindset. So, help me in welcoming Dr. Marie Gasper-Hulvat today. Welcome, welcome, Dr. Marie.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being invited onto the show.
And you are a wealth of knowledge, but we are going to try and start at the beginning. How did you start your business? Actually, let's start with the name of your business. Tell us the name of your business and how it got started.
So the name of my business is Soul Star Attunement.
Mm.
And it has to do with there's a chakra. So there are seven chakras that are, well, there's six chakras that are in the body, and then there's a seventh chakra up here that's the crown chakra. And then I'll step back and you can see there's a chakra way kind of up here, like a foot, 2, 3 feet above the crown chakra. That's called the Soul Star chakra. And it's the place where we receive divine guidance that then filters down to our crown chakra and then into our whole system. And so I picked that Soul Star name after I had actually a Reiki session with one of my teachers, and she told me in the Reiki session to reach up into my Soul Star and pull what I needed to know out of the Soul Star, like that information download. And it was a really powerful session. And afterwards, I was like, that's the name of my business. And then I added attunement because because a lot of what I do, so much of what I do in just in my life, I mean, it's how I live. It's part of my business, but it's also how I live, is through the guidance of Reiki, which Reiki just means like right chi or right energy. And it's all about the energy moving through our bodies and our energetic fields. And in Reiki training, and I've done all 3 levels of Reiki training now, we do attunements. So we bring ourselves into an energetic alignment with particular energies, particular healing energies. And so the reason I named my business Soul Star Attunement was because I wanted to help with my business, help people, help my clients become attuned to the messages that their soul star was there to give them, the downloads that they're meant to receive from their soul star, to be able to reach up into their soul star and bring down what they need to know in this moment to guide them in their next step.
Wonderful. And so this is all new for me, the soul star. I know about the other, is it seven chakras? And this is
Mm-hmm.
okay. And this one is even higher. And
Mm-hmm.
what did it cause you to pull down? Did it cause you to pull the name of your business? And
It actually it brought me a vision of a frog. And frogs often come up in my visions. But it brought me a vision of a frog and tadpoles and eating tadpoles and then coming out of the frog of the like the mud and I transformed, like there was a bunch of metamorphosis going on. And I stepped out of the frog's body and I had like human feet and legs and I had wings. And it was this beautiful vision of like me having wings and being able to fly
okay,
with
from
my
the mud
wings.
to wings.
Yeah.
And the
And it,
wings that took off were related to your business. So tell us more about what you do in this business?
So in my business, I am a life coach, a transformation life coach, and I bring people into greater alignment with their soul's purpose, and help clear energy blockages, emotional blockages that are keeping them from being able to step into the fullness that the universe is ready to provide for them. Because the universe is always ready to provide us with everything that we need and want. That it's there waiting, and it's that we have internal stories that we tell about ourselves that prevent the universe from being able to give us all that is there for us, prevent the universe from being able to provide that to us. And so I help people clear those stories and find the stories, clear the stories, and step further into their abundance.
Wonderful, wonderful. So again, for our listeners, the universe, everything is available. It's ready to be given to you. It's just you may not be ready to receive it
Mhm,
because of the programming or the story that you believe
mhm.
about yourself.
In human design, the word that's used is also conditioning. So we're conditioned in certain ways. So human design is one of the modalities that I work in. And in human design, there's always two sides of each aspect, each archetype that we live. And so we can live in the shadow side of it, or we can live in the optimal side of it. And we're conditioned often to live in the shadow side, to believe that the universe isn't there to support us. And the opposite, the optimal side of that, is belief that the universe is, that there is universal, infinite abundance available to us. So we can be stuck in a lack mindset, or we can be trust and fall into and be immersed in a mindset that says there is infinite abundance out there, and it is here for me to support me.
All right, well, let's get into a little deeper. An example of money mindset.
Mhm.
What are the typical blockages that you find your clients come to you with?
Well, one of the biggest things with money mindset is we all feel like we want money and need the money to support the things that we need, like just to survive. And a lot of what blocks us are stories that we don't actually deserve it. That we're not worthy of the abundance that the universe is here to provide, of the money that is here, so that we don't deserve it. And when we internalize that we don't deserve it, then it's not going to come our way. And there's many reasons why we pick up these stories that we don't deserve it. They can come from childhood experiences. They can come from even adult life traumas. They can come from micro traumas. They can come from whole cultural traumas that exist, cultural narratives about we don't deserve this. We're not worthy of this. And it can also come through past life experiences, ancestral trauma, ancestral experiences. We bring all that to the table. And all of those aspects of the story of I don't deserve this, I'm not worthy of this, then affect the ability of the universe to bring us the money that we need, and that will keep us going, that will keep us thriving, and that will overfill our cups. And so we have to clear that. We have to clear those stories about abundance and about deserving and about worthiness in order for that to break free of those binds.
Yes, one of the things I know is there is a flow of energy, flow of money, flow of abundance, flow of everything
Mhm,
that's good that wants to come toward us and come in our lives and out, and we
mhm,
block it.
mhm,
Sometimes we think we're protecting ourselves and it causes this blockage. to have.
It's almost always a self-protective mechanism. I
Uh,
mean, in my experience, we block it because that's what we needed to do in a past experience in order to protect ourselves. It's not like we're trying to sabotage ourselves. It's not like we're trying to say, no, I don't deserve this. It's that we have had experiences where, in order to survive, we've had to tell these stories to protect ourselves. And the brain's number one job, the body's number one job, is to protect the life and to do whatever it takes to protect. And we get stuck in these cycles of self-protection because we think we're still experiencing that trauma. Somewhere in our body, somewhere in our body is still holding on to the memory of being stuck in that trauma and not knowing that it ended. That was a past life, that was something that happened to my ancestors, and it's no longer happening to me. That was something that happened to me when I was 4 years old, but it ended. And being able to convince not just the brain, but the body that whatever it is that happened that made us not worthy ended. We no longer have to protect ourselves from that experience. That's what releases the block, is when we realize that we're no longer having to experience that over and over and over again. I feel like, yeah, I had a vision this morning of like everybody, we have, just millions and millions of people are walking around on this planet, and we're not all living in this moment. We're living in multiple moments at the same time because we're carrying around in our bodies all these moments that we're still reliving
yeah.
on replay because of the trauma that they caused. And we haven't figured out a way to let go of those stories.
Okay.
So, you
Yeah.
know,
I'm gonna open myself up here to exactly give you an example of what you're saying. A small example is yesterday I went to get a massage and I was late. Now, I had planned the whole day to be very, very early, and the weather was terrible and traffic and other things. And I came in 15 minutes late. And I know that for the first 15 minutes of that massage, I was beating myself up saying, why didn't I not do this? Or what was it that I did wrong? That, and it's like, wait a minute. The beautiful waterfall music is playing. I'm here. Let me enjoy this moment. Stop that talking.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And if we were to, so one of the other modalities that I use with my coaching is called EFT tapping. And if we were to tap on that,
Okay.
we would probably start with this story about, I'm late. Why didn't I do this? I should have done that. Like I would literally have just written down exactly what you told me, or the words you just said.
Okay.
And then I would have gone through a series of tapping, and we would have used your exact words and tapped them into your body. Would you like to try this for a second?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think I've got the words in my head. All
Okay.
right, so we're going to start on the top side of your hand.
Okay.
Even though
Even though
I was 15 minutes late
I was 15 minutes late
for my massage session,
for my massage session,
and for the first 15 minutes,
and it's for the first 15 minutes,
all I could think about was,
all I could think about was,
I should have done this, I should have done that.
I should have done this, I should have done that.
And I deeply and completely
And I deeply and completely
love and accept myself,
love and accept myself,
even though
even though
for my massage yesterday,
for my massage yesterday,
I spent the first 15 minutes
I spent the first 15 minutes
dwelling on all the stuff I should have done.
dwelling on all the stuff I should have done
so I could have been on time.
so I could have been on time.
And I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
And I deeply and completely love and accept myself,
Even though
even though
yesterday for my massage,
yesterday for my massage,
I had a hard time enjoying the beautiful music
I had a hard time enjoying the beautiful music
because I was so focused on how I was late.
because I was so focused on how I was late.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
All right, now you're going to tap on the top of your head. I was 15 minutes late.
I was 15 minutes late.
You're going to go the inside of your eyebrows. I couldn't focus.
I couldn't focus.
Outside of the eyes. Beautiful waterfall music.
Beautiful waterfall music.
Under the eyes. All the things I should have done.
All the things I should have done.
Under the nose. Should have done this.
Should have done this.
Under the lip. Should have done that.
Should have done that.
Under your collarbones. Yeah, right about there. I was 15 minutes late.
I was 15 minutes late.
And then you're going to go under your arm, kind of right where your bra strap is. I was 15 minutes late.
I was 15 minutes late.
All right. And then I would ask you to take a drink of water. Do you have anything to drink? Because water helps move emotions.
Hmm.
And then we can keep going with this, or we can pause. But the next thing I would ask you is anything coming up in your body or in your thoughts?
Yes. Something is coming up here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, why beat yourself up? It's
Mm-hmm.
over.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. And I think there is a tendency to please others.
Mm-hmm.
What are people thinking of me
Mm-hmm.
because I was late? And
Mm-hmm.
I've done work through this so that I was able to stop myself at the 15-minute point. Years before, it probably would have just taken off the whole massage. It would have been extra tense because I would be thinking about how I could do things better
Mm-hmm.
and look better in a way.
Mm-hmm.
The way that other people perceive me would have been a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I it's a daily process, but becoming more aware of staying in the present. Stay
Mm-hmm.
stay here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if we were to continue, which I don't think we should today, I would, everything you just said, I would have written down, and then we would have done that again with your words and tapped another round and see what came up. And as you go through these rounds of tapping, it kind of breaks down the emotional goo, like the stickiness. And you get to a point where you're like, oh, that's where this is coming from. The sudden realization that oh, this relates to this thing that happened when I was 5 years old, and I'm still holding on to it somewhere in my body. And it works because you're tapping different, very sensitive, energetic points. These are not just random points that have been chosen. EFT tapping works with the Chinese meridian system in ancient or traditional Chinese medicine. And the meridians are like, this is a particular meridian that's activated. This one on the chest is the kidney meridian. There's different, this here is the governing vessel meridian. Like there's various different meridians that are tapped into, and you're just kind of activating the energies in those like circuits in your body. They're like electrical circuitry in your body. And it just kind of, it turns different switches and kind of gets your body to pay attention to different things, and it leads your mind to like ideas to pop into your mind, feelings to pop into your body that you can then kind of follow. It's almost like a scavenger hunt or a treasure map that your body leads you on as you go through these tapping rounds. And then suddenly something will just go whoosh, and I can start to feel the energy moving a little bit with you in that first round. There was a little bit of shifting, and then as we go further into the rounds of tapping, like suddenly huge energetic things will come through. And for me as the practitioner, I have very like strong physical responses to other people's energies moving. So even if I like the client doesn't feel the energy moving, if I'm like yawning and burping and shaking and coughing, like I know their energies are moving, because like when we set this up, there's an energetic entanglement between me and the client, and I can feel as their energies are moving, even if they can't. So I know when like things are working, and I can kind of feel when things are still stuck and we need to take it like one more round, and then suddenly poof, it all like transforms. So that's how tapping works. But what you were saying about like being seen and what other people think of you and wanting to appear like not disappoint other people. Am I getting that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
So that's something that I would also look at your human design chart about, because there's very particular areas of the human design chart that frequently, like if they, there's one particular, the human design chart has a bunch of different like squares and triangles on it. And there's one particular triangle that if it's not colored in, frequently people who don't have that triangle colored in are the people pleasers. They're the ones that want to keep everybody happy, because we don't want to have any arguments. We don't want to have any like conflicts, because conflicts feel to those people so much more intense and painful that you want to avoid them at all cost. And so one of the things that from a human design perspective, and the really nice way of like merging EFT tapping and human design is we can look at your chart and say, okay, we need to maybe work on people pleasing, because I see this is in your chart, and you have probably had a lifetime of trying to please people.
But this is something that came up as you were talking, and you said, going deeper into it. And I was thinking, oh, yes, of course. Both my parents being on time and being, it was just super, super strict thing, whether it
Mhm,
be work or anything, being so organized, uh, very perfectionist in that
mhm.
aspect. And then I also remember moving to Japan and living in that culture where if you are on time, you're late. So, yeah, yeah. So,
Uh-huh.
if the train, a perfect example, if the train was 30 seconds late, you would see people on the platform with their arms crossed and foot tapping, like, how dare you be 30 seconds late? Everything is supposed to be so precise.
Mhm,
So, letting that go, it's like a
mhm,
daily thing for me, just
mhm,
letting go of those expectations that others have put. Yeah,
mhm.
that's
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about this process is it takes some work, but eventually, like you do, it does go. It stops. Like through enough tapping, through enough like reframing, through enough understanding of, okay, this is the conditioning that I received from that experience, but it's no longer mine. And clearing those energies and saying, am I holding on to any energies that don't belong to me right now? And if I am, I choose to let them go. Well, the thing that I always ask myself when I'm doing energy clearing on myself is, am I holding on to any energies that don't belong to me? And if like I get kind of a sense like yes or no, and I can just kind of feel that yes or no in my body. And if I get a yes, I ask, I try to clear them. And then if they still are sticking around, then I ask, is it safe for me to let go of these energies? And usually if they don't clear the first time, it's because it's not safe, because something in me is saying it's not safe. And then I ask, is it not safe for my adult self? And then I'll get a yes or a no kind of feeling. And then I'll ask, is it not safe for my inner child? And I'll get a yes or no feeling. And so, and then I have different tactics. Like if it's for my adult self, if I just brush my shoulders, 1, 2, 3, left, right, left, sometimes that's enough to like calm my nervous system down to the point that it's like, okay, it's fine. But if it's my inner child, I have to do like other things. I have to like sing songs to my inner child. I have special songs that I sing to her. I have special things like I put my hands on her shoulder and be like, we've got this, girl. It's going to be okay. Like I'm behind you, until she feels like she's safe. And then usually I can clear the energies away.
Tell us a little bit more about this inner child. Is it hard to connect with her?
It has taken me a long time. It's taken me like it's been a really it's been a painful journey in some ways because she did not trust me for decades, for good reason, because I was ignoring her, and I didn't really want to hear what she had to tell me. And I'm still a little bit afraid. Like actually last night I was tapping on this because something that she told me that was truly horrific. Um, I have released it, and it's gone. I'm no longer living it, and I was living it for 40 years. But last night I was like, I'm still afraid that I'm holding on to it. And I asked, am I still holding on to it? I'm not still holding on, but I'm afraid that I'm still holding on to it. So then I had to tap on that and release that fear. But it really started off when I first finally felt like I was finally connecting with her. When I started asking about socks. I finally like the way that I finally kind of broke her resistance to trusting me is I would ask every morning before I chose the socks that I put on my feet, do I want to wear these socks today or do I want to wear these socks today or these socks? And I would find a pair of socks that my body was like, those are the ones. And for months, and still occasionally, my body had very strong opinions about socks. And I feel like this is like, if you think about it, like infants have really strong opinions about the things that go on their feet. And I feel like that really is what kind of got her to be able to begin to open up to me, that she could trust me about the socks that I was wearing. And that started to crack things open where she was more willing to start communicating with me and let me in to acknowledging that she was there, that she had needs that were unmet, and listening to her. So that's been a huge journey, a huge process for me.
Yeah, and the process of you letting go of that control and letting her speak up and say, "This is what I want to wear today," because
Exactly.
you get that luxury to tell
Yeah,
them what they want.
exactly.
Uh,
It was socks. It was had some really strong, like, nope, 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 not those, not those.
okay.
It was really a matter of just listening to my body and what my body really wanted from me. Um, and just paying attention to what was going on with my body. And I've been doing that lately with when I feel an emotion come up that's mine, the energy that's mine, fear, anxiety, overwhelm, whatever it is. And I just ask my body, like, where am I holding this? And a lot of times it's in a particular chakra. So I'll just kind of go through my chakras, and I'm usually holding it in my heart. And when I just say, okay, I hear that I feel nervous in my heart, a lot of times just stating that and acknowledging, I hear you. Like, you are being heard. I'm not ignoring you. I'm hearing that you feel nervous. Like, I'm hearing that my heart feels nervous. That is enough to like kind of let it go. And then it's not nervous anymore. Um,
Saying it out loud.
yeah, just saying it, or even just in my head, like just acknowledging, hey, that's where it is. And I hear it and I feel it and I acknowledge that it's there. Um, that alone, like sometimes clears. I'm not feeling worthy of having money coming into my life right now. Where am I feeling that? Am I feeling like, what chakra am I feeling that in? Okay, I'm feeling that in my throat chakra. All right, I hear it. Is that enough to release it? And just saying that, like, I'm now feeling like I might need to burp because the energies are moving.
Go for it. Go for it. Because that was you. You were kind of reading the question that was just on my mind. Which which chakra is typically related to the flow of money or connected to
It
that?
it really can. It totally depends on your conditioning. It totally depends, and it totally depends on the moment. Um, because money issues can often come up in the root chakra. And I have I because money is inherently like it's a material, even though we like everything we do with money now is completely digital, right?
Mhm.
But fundamentally, like money is matter. It's material, it's physical, it's something like tangible, made of the earth in some capacity. And so anything that is, and it provides for our physical needs. So anything that provides for our physical needs is related to our bodily, like our embodiment, comes up from the earth. And actually we have an earth star chakra down in the earth that is below our feet, that feeds up into our root chakra. And so the root chakra, which is kind of at the base of our spine.
Like the coccyx bone. Yes.
Yeah, it is often related to money issues. But it's also like being able to fully ground into the energy of the earth, is essential for accessing that flow. Um, and that's something that I only very, very in the last year have been able to actually do. So for so many years, I would be at these meditation things and in my first Reiki classes, my Reiki 1 and my Reiki 2 classes, they'd be like, ground down into the earth. I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
Mhm. It's interesting because we're talking about flow and something that's so free, and then you're talking about grounding yourself into, well, like I always think about electrical current, connecting to that
Mhm.
ground
And there
and
literally
pulling the
is an
flow.
electrical current in the earth that comes up through the kidney meridian. There's an pressure point on the soles of the feet. That is what, like, literally how we energetically connect to the earth. And if that spot or that meridian is blocked in some way, and it was for me for decades. It's really like it's you can't will yourself to ground. And I work with a chiropractor frequently, and he was working on my feet, and he says, "Oh, this is a long time coming." I'm like, "What?" He says, "You're finally grounding." I'm like, "Yeah."
Okay, okay. And that sounds like it relates to safety again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's trusting in the energy of Mother Earth to support you. That you can be safely in this body that Mother Earth has provided you with, because all of us are made of the essence of Mother Earth. And it's feeling safe enough to fully inhabit that body and connect down into the energy of Mother Earth, knowing that she is providing for us and giving us the safety that we need, and trusting. I mean, that's another crux of money mindset, is trusting in the ability of the universe, of Mother Earth, to provide for us, and know that we have a soul's purpose. We're here embodied in this lifetime, in these bodies, to do something. We're not here just randomly. Like, we came into these bodies for a reason. We have a purpose for this lifetime. Our soul has a purpose for occupying this material world in this lifetime. And we wouldn't be here if there wasn't the support for us to have those experiences that we need to have. And that's one of the things that I love about human design, is it really helps us, like, it shows us what our curriculum is. Like, it's almost like we're here in this lifetime as like a really drawn out, like, I'm a university professor, so it's like a really drawn out university, like, program of study. And there's a whole curriculum that we're here to follow in this lifetime. And each one of us has a different curriculum. There are no, like, across the campus majors. Every single one of us has a different major. Every single one of us has a different minor. And we each have a curriculum that we're here to learn from this embodied experience, because that's what our soul wants us to do.
That's that's a lot to take in, but it's quite a beautiful concept that each of us has a unique curriculum, and how we're going to interact with that curriculum is depending on a lot of things. But yeah, so many options.
And what we attract into our lives
Yeah.
is part of that curriculum.
Mm.
The people that we attract into our lives are part of the curriculum. The debt that we attract into our lives are part of that curriculum. The financial windfalls that we attract into our lives, it's all part of that curriculum. And so, like, understanding how we are getting straight A's or F's
Mm.
along the path of our curriculum. And I don't know if that's really the greatest term, but, like, how we are living, like,
F's.
our,
Oh no.
I know, well, I mean, it's not, yeah, I mean, like,
I got
there's
it.
a lot of aspects of the human design chart that are, like, that could be interpreted as a proclivity towards failing. And it's not really, that's not what they are. They are a proclivity towards trying things out and seeing what works. And a lot of things won't work, and you learn from them.
Yes, same in business. Yes.
Exactly. I just did it was a really exciting opportunity for me to put out my latest freebie to an audience of 30,000 people, of this really important business guru. And she was distributing this list. Her name's Elizabeth Goddard, and she ran this tripwire training. So putting up a tripwire on your freebie to encourage people to purchase something from you after they download your freebie. And so I created a whole like 46-page workbook, and I put it up as a tripwire for $17 and off of my freebie. And I really like hauled it to make sure I got it done in time for her deadline. And I was like envisioning like hundreds of purchases, because you have to like dream big. And I didn't get that, but I have gotten about 10 new subscribers to my list,
Okay.
which 10 is great, right? And so it wasn't a failure. But it did teach me some things about, like, well, for one, maybe her audience isn't my ideal audience. And so that's, my offer didn't necessarily appeal to many of her subscribers, because her subscribers are interested in developing their online businesses. Why I'm a subscriber to her stuff. But maybe they're not as interested in thinking about human design. Maybe they're not parents, because my freebie is discovering your 9 child's or inner child's superpowers. And it's a free human design report that goes into like what your inner child or your child has as their superpowers, and also what they need, and how to foster what ways to have authentic, meaningful growth and environments for their growth. And it works for your inner child too, because you still have to like reparent your inner child constantly as well. And so yeah, that's maybe not her audience as much as maybe my ideal audience is. But I got people, and I did make a tripwire sale. So like it's a learning process.
Yes, and everything you said is so huge for business, taking those steps forward and then tailoring it and learning what works, what doesn't work. Another thing you said is this is for parenting your inner child. So this is huge, and we're definitely going to have to take a look into that. But before we close out, every time you say the word human design, is that what you said?
Mhm.
I get a vision of colors,
Ooh.
a lot of colors
Hmm.
on a chart. Is that something that you work with, or
That's amazing. I've been tweaking, I've been playing around with my like how I envision the human design chart to look like, and it does have a whole bunch of colors. Traditionally the human design chart is just it's just lines with maybe 2 colors. And I've always envisioned the human design chart as embodying the colors that are traditionally associated with the chakras. That's too funny.
yeah, yeah. Every time you said human design, it was just like, ooh, I just see this vision of colors. So I
Beautiful.
will definitely post that and your freebie. And I just want to thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us and being so
Absolutely.
authentic and real with us today. I'm I'm so happy to have
It
met
was
you.
a wonderful conversation. So thank you so much for inviting me in.
You're welcome.